We are back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about the Legal Aid Society, the help they provide. Specifically, our guest with us this morning, Tom Szaniawski?
Szaniawski, yes.
Szaniawski. I got to get that right. I'm sorry.
You're not the first.
Szaniawski is with us this morning. He's an attorney with Legal Aid Society and is in the process also of working toward improving the efforts to expunge records for individuals who have served and paid their debt to society and now are out in an expungement or seeking to get their record clear. It really helps on so many levels. Gets them back to work. They want to work. Helps the employers who are desperate right now for good workers, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of a trend where the direction we're going. We can take some calls, 737-7587. If you like. I'm sorry, who do you want me to take? All right, let's go to Debbie first. Debbie, good morning. Hi, Debbie.
Good morning. Hi. I wanted to know from the attorney, when will the next two legal clinics be in Nashville?
Legal clinic. Talk about, do you have legal clinics and how do they go? Thank you, ma'am.
We do. I'll have to check on the schedule. I'll get back with you so you can have that information, or you can call us at Legal Aid. I think these folks are going to provide contact info for you. If not, you can just Google Legal Aid of Middle Tennessee, and the website is las.org. That'll have a schedule of clinics.
The phone number's on the screen, by the way, right now. It's an 800 number.
And I don't know the schedule off the top of my head, but these are situations where folks come in, there's no charge, they're typically held in community centers, away from downtown, and folks can come in, they can get general information about expungement.
Oh, great.
We try to make attorneys available to meet with people individually for 15 or 30 minutes. Because these cases are so fact-sensitive, it really takes...
Look, we've got it up on the screen now, Rick and Mary Elena were able to find it. If you can see it, we're sitting farther back from the monitor, but looks like there's one coming up on the 15th of June at the Public Library. And folks, there you go. So Debbie, you can take a look at that right there. There's several scheduled, and I bet you get pretty good turnout for those usually.
We do. I held one in Rutherford County last November, and we had about 60 people whom we processed. There were other folks in attendance as well, just for general information, but we were able to sit and meet with one-on-one, I think about 35 people of the
That's
total.
awesome. The truth is, I knew you would. I mean, there's such a need from so many people to just have basic legal questions sometimes asked, and not just about the expungement, but anything under the law. We all, hopefully you go through life and you don't have to deal with the legal system too much. But we all have to deal with it. Everything from a fender bender and how you deal with it if as long as it's not criminal or all kinds of issues like that. Just basic stuff you run into every day.
Yes, and one of the interesting things about the community reentry program is that we're often the first stop that people make when they're looking for legal advice. So oftentimes I'm the first attorney folks are talking to. So in addition to explaining issues like expungement and driver's license restoration, which we do specifically, we kind of probe folks for additional legal issues that they may have. And the interview always functions partially as a teaser, and what we'll do is kind of try to flesh out those additional problems, and then we will refer them to an appropriate practice group.
I think it's great. Well, let's see, we've got Tom next. Tom, good morning. Hi, Tom.
Good morning.
Morning.
A well-regulated militia does not kill children. Thank you.
Not sure what he's talking about there. Tom, I'm going to have to tell Tom that he's off point there. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, we at Legal Aid, we're apolitical and we don't really take views on public policy.
Okay. I thought maybe. I gave Tom a shot there because sometimes he comes in with a legit question, but when he calls in a statement, Tom, next time you call, I'm not taking your call. How about them apples? Unless you have a question that's specific to this. But getting back to the Legal Aid Society, as far as these inmates, is part of the battle, I would imagine, is making them realize the service is available to them.
Yes.
That's why so often there are people that will even call into this show that don't know. They would say, well, you've heard of Legal Aid Society or that it's there, and they don't know it.
Right.
So how do you get the information to them besides doing programs like this?
Well, we do a lot of these legal clinics where we kind of market them, quote unquote, heavily. We work with a network of community partners, organizations, for example, like halfway houses, colleges, organizations that specialize in job placement for folks who've been involved with the justice system. And we do just a lot of general type of clinics where we'll go out and we'll do a presentation about legal aid generally and about reentry. One of the biggest hurdles in my view, which dovetails with your point, is simply that folks lack this knowledge. So half the battle, if not more than half, is simply getting out there, getting information in front of folks, whether that's through meetings set up with our community partners. We work closely with the criminal clerk's office. They often
do the probation office, they know about you?
They do. We don't deal with them too much, but there are situations where somebody's been involved in a probation or parole situation, so we do handle those.
When it comes to expungement, can you be specific too, though? Not every crime is eligible for expungement, correct?
That's correct.
And so typically speaking, our most, quote, violent crimes, say armed robbery, aggravated assault, things like this, after they've paid their debt to society and either paroled or they get out after time served, those typically can't be expunged, can they?
Again, yes, it's in a general sense, that's correct. To put a finer point on it, there is a specific list of both felonies and misdemeanors that are eligible for expungement. Again, it's dependent on one's individual situation and their past involvements with the justice system, but generally speaking, expungements that cannot happen are those for violent crimes, as you put it, anything from simple assault all the way on up. Sex crimes are another one that generally are not expungible. DUIs are not expungible. Those are, and anything that's related to serious drug charges, especially anything that implicates methamphetamine, those typically cannot be expunged. But again, it's important to have an attorney look at your record, figure out what you are eligible for, what you're not eligible for, and to help you move forward from there. So again, it's an answer but not an answer, but
sure,
it depends.
Okay, it depends. But in general, I mean, the more serious crimes maybe can't be expunged.
That's correct.
And as far as the rights you lose when you do serve your time, you get out, but you're still a convicted felon.
Right.
I don't know whether expungements, but the right to vote.
Yes.
Can that be restored? Can the right to own a weapon be restored?
The right to vote can be restored. Basically, it's a court hearing where you're asked to come in, and basically what you've already done is provided the court with information like personal information, income, expenses. We go through all of that stuff. And I don't want to go off topic. Could you just repeat what you wanted to focus on?
The gun. Can the gun right be restored in rare cases?
We at Legal Aid don't typically handle it, but yes, legally speaking, gun rights can be restored. The right to vote can be restored. Other rights to citizenship, like the right to hold public office or the right to sit on a jury, those can be restored. And the nice thing about the process of restoration is that it kind of is a companion to certificates of employability, which we can get into, as well as restoration of voting rights, which is to say that you can get your voting rights back, you can get certain citizenship rights back, and you can get a certificate of employability. You can do that all basically in the same hearing. The legal standards apply the same way, the evidentiary standards apply the same way. So in one shot, one can go through the process and walk out the back end with their voting rights restored, with certain citizenship rights restored, and with a certificate of employability in hand.
That's awesome. Listen, we'll take a break on that note. We can take more phone calls, 737-7587. Tom here is with the Legal Aid Society. More of our conversation with him right after this.